Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show. So now I did my Golden State Warriors 2023-24 season preview for this year. And so now I'm here to do my NBA 2023-24 season preview. If you haven't watched the Warriors one, go watch that. I talked about a lot of stuff. And now let's get to the 2023-24 season preview. There's a lot of stuff here. I want to talk about the storylines. I talk about about 18 or so storylines going to this year, going to the season. So the Bucks, massive trade for Damian Lillard. That's going to put the NBA on notice, especially the Eastern Conference, with the new superstar tandem of Lillard and Giannis. They're one of the favorites to win the 2024 title. And Lillard's desire to compete for a championship, pushed him to ask out of Portland. Giannis Antetokounmpo's determination to chase titles prompted him to publicly challenge Milwaukee management to keep upgrading. Now you got two top 75 players that are teammates, set to lead the other Bucks as favorites, to snag the 2024 title. And there are other contenders, of course, but Milwaukee was among them even before the trade. Now they have arguably the top tandem in the league, a pair of all-stars whose strengths complement each other. He's as freakish as ever as Antetokounmpo, capable of dominating defenses about 3.5 quarters, and Lillard's one of the NBA's best closers and can take over in games. You'll have that closer instead of having Giannis to do everything. And they've each averaged more than 30 points last season, which shouldn't be necessary now with others' considerable help, and with Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and you have the rest of the team there. And nothing is guaranteed. Sending out Jrue Holiday, but I really still think they'll be good. They'll still be contenders. So, the Grizzlies are going to face a tough climb while waiting Ja Morant's return. Now that 25-game suspension. They're going to be without him for the first 25 games. They've lost some quality depth, trading Anthony Melton, Tyus Jones, while seeing Kyle Anderson and Dillon Brooks leave via free agent. I don't think Dillon Brooks is much of a loss. But it's gonna be tough with them for the first 25 games not having Ja Morant. I mean, Marcus Smart arrived in the trade that sent Jones to Washington, and could be just what the Grizzlies need in regard, to leadership. But for at least these first 25 games, they will need to get something out of Derrick Rose. He's going to be 35 years old on opening night and play just 53 games over the last 2 years. In the long term, they'll need more from it. At least more of their young forwards. They always seem to find a way to stay competitive, but I think Morant's absence for the first 25 games and, the depth that's lost will be a little bit tough for him to do. The additions of Jrue Holiday and Kristaps for the Celtics, and they got them in trades this offseason. They got Porzingis in a trade and Jrue Holiday, so they made some major moves this offseason and won't pay off in a finals run. They can't make the Celtics a much better team, the additions of it, in my opinion, but they could be enough. They were statistically the best team in the Eastern Conference by a healthy margin last season. And they were just the third team in the 27 years for which we have play-by-play data to rank in the top 3 on both ends of the floor. So it's impossible for this team to be dramatically improved, but they can do better in the margins. Over the 6 regular seasons in which they've had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they've had a much worse record in games that were within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. They just don't have that closer, in those big clutch games. Maybe Kristaps or Jrue Holiday can fix that, but I don't know. The Celtics are going to be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, I believe. Shall see if they can pull it off this year when it counts. Excuse me. So the Golden State Warriors get Chris Paul, and I think even with us getting Chris Paul, another title run will be tough. Because it's going to be a competitive Western Conference, but I still think we'll be good. He will obviously carve out a role immense because his pick and roll and mid-range game remains pure, but it's likely to see time off the bench, which I think is a good move to keep him off the bench, personally. But he's a Hall of Fame bound all-time great, and who's made every team he joined better than before he arrived. But again, we're going to need more. He needs the Warriors more than they need him. The Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving combo will be better in 2023-24 this season, in my opinion. Another storyline going to the year. They were fine in 11th games. They had Doncic early last season, but they weren't nearly that bad. And the fact they outscored their opponents by 9 over those last 16. But 14 of those 16 games were within 5 points the last 5 minutes, and they lost those games. They just weren't clutch last season. It's just the defense. They really fell off on defense. But you're getting the additions of Grant Williams and Derrick Jones Jr. along with better health from Maxi Kleber, who missed 45 games last season, will help the defense. And if they can be at least league average on defense, they'll be in decent shape because their offense was still pretty good last year. The Rookie of the Year chase, I don't think will be a one-man race this year. No, up here saying, it's just going to be Victor Wembanyama. I think it's going to be close. Because you have Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson. I don't know about Brandon Miller. Chet is actually rookie this season. His 2022-23 season was wiped out by injury. So I think it's going to be between Chet, Wemby, and Scoot Henderson. So, a lot of people are saying it's just going to be Wemby. They're writing off everybody else. But I think it's going to be a close Rookie of the Year race. The Clippers, they're open for a full season out of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I don't think there's... I mean, there's so many back-to-back this year, they'll probably rest. They're just so both injury-prone. I don't think it's going to happen. Even with Paulo, now I'm going to talk about the Magic. They have ways to go in the playoff draft. Even with Paulo and a solid core, I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think they'll be better than last year. I think they can be a solid play-in team, maybe, or close to it. But they still have ways to go before they end that playoff drought. Ime Udoka's back on the bench, and Rockets fans should rejoice to that. But I think he's a defensive-minded coach, and he could spark some turnaround for that team. And he got some really good young talent that can help progress that team. The Blazers are entering a new era with Scoot Henderson and DeAndre Ayton leading the way. They made that trade. They got DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns, Scoot Henderson in the draft. I feel like they did a good job out of that Damian Lillard trade, getting some good solid young pieces. Will they make the playoffs this year? I don't know. But I think it's going to be a good start to building a good young squad. So for Zion Williamson, if he's fully fit this year, fully healthy, their ceiling is primed to rise because they're really a team when Zion plays. But when he doesn't play, they're not too good of a team. So the Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert pairing didn't really work in year one. Will it work in year two? That's another storyline. I don't think it's gonna work out. The Rudy Gobert thing is just, I don't think it's gonna work out for Timberwolves, man. They shouldn't have signed him when they did. The Cavaliers are eager to learn from their first round playoff loss to a breakthrough season. They lost to the Knicks last year in the playoffs. I still think they'll be a good team this year. Cleveland. Jimmy Butler makes the NBA star need the most help. I feel like he needs I don't know if he needs the most help. Because I feel like that he can still lead the Heat to making the playoffs. So the Nets and Knicks, could they put the big apple on the nose in 2023 or 24? I don't know. I feel like the Knicks are the most likely. I don't know about the Brooklyn Nets this year. So the offensive efficiency should continue to rise this season in 2023-24. It's really an offensive-dominated league now. So I think the offensive efficiency should continue to rise. Durant, Beal, and Booker put the West on those. Phoenix's big three. Obviously, they made a trade for Bradley Beal in the offseason. So I think they're going to put the West on those, and they'll be a top team. So which rule change will have the biggest impact on the 2023-24 season? That's the last storyline I want to talk about, my 18th and final storyline of the season. So this one's easy. The second challenge will be a bigger deal this season, because compared to what we've seen since this rule, where you only get one challenge, but instead now you get two challenges. The flop rule as well. I mean, with the timeout, a coach must be right on his first challenge to even get the second, and the second will cost his team a timeout regardless. A timeout is restored with a successful first challenge. But a coach now can be less torn between questioning an early third or fourth foul on his star player versus reviewing a late out of bounds play or something like that. I think that and calling flops more stingently and wanting to tackle free throw is significant. Right out some of the maneuvers have full referees and stuff. So I think that the second challenge and then the flopping rule yeah, that's my preview for the season. And some of the storylines with some teams and these real changes. But yeah, until next Mac a lot. Peace. Season starts in about 4 days. Pretty excited.